So here's a question that keeps military strategists up at night. What happens when a determined regional power decides to take on the most powerful warship on the planet? It's a classic David versus Goliath story, really. Only this time, the slingshot is a storm of missiles, and Goliath is a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. Okay, let's just get right to it. This is the question that haunts the halls of the Pentagon. You've got the most advanced warship ever built versus a nation that has spent decades mastering the art of asymmetric warfare. So, is it actually possible? Could Iran sink a U.S. aircraft carrier? Well, let's break it down. First things first, we need to be clear, we're not just talking about one single ship. An aircraft carrier is the heart, the centerpiece of what's called a carrier strike group. And that's basically a floating fortress that projects American power anywhere on the globe.
And the depth of this fortress is just incredible. I mean, you've got the carrier itself, a city-sized, nuclear-powered giant. But then you look at its bodyguards. These Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, they aren't just escorts. They are floating missile platforms with their own advanced combat systems. In the air, you've got the fighters, sure, but the real game changers are the EA-18 Growlers. These things are designed to just blind and jam enemy radar before a shot is even fired. And then, somewhere down below, a nuclear sub is lurking. It's this incredible layered web of attack and defense.
And all that power? Well, it comes with a price tag that is just mind-boggling. $6 million. That's roughly what it costs to run one of these supercarriers for a single day. And that's before it even gets into a fight. This isn't just a ship, it's a massive national investment. At the absolute core of this defense is the Aegis combat system. You can think of it like this super advanced digital shield. It can track hundreds of potential threats all at once, and it networks the entire strike group together so it can intercept over 60 of those threats simultaneously. It's a technological marvel for sure, but here's the thing. Even the strongest shield has a breaking point. So how do you possibly fight something like that? Well, Iran knows it can't go toe-to-toe in a conventional fight. They wouldn't even try. So they came up with a completely different strategy, one that's designed to turn the carrier's biggest strength, its high-tech defense, into its biggest weakness. And that strategy is built around one concept: the saturation attack. The logic here is brutally simple. It really doesn't matter how amazing your shield is if the other guy can throw more rocks than you can block. The goal isn't to be smarter than the system, it's just to overwhelm it with so much stuff that it literally can't keep up. Eventually, something's gonna get through. And this is what that kind of attack actually looks like. It's not one weapon, it's a storm from every direction. We're talking hundreds of drones filling the sky, barrages of cruise and ballistic missiles launched from different spots, swarms of small, fast boats coming in on the water, and even sea mines to clog up the area. It's a total multi-front assault designed to create pure chaos. And here's the whole game right here. Iran doesn't need every single missile to hit. They just need to throw so many threats at that Aegis system from so many different directions all at once that one or two slip past the defenses. In this game, that's all it takes. So when you get right down to it, this whole scenario becomes a terrifying math problem. It's all about capacity. Can the carrier group's limited number of intersectors actually handle a potentially unlimited number of incoming threats? And here is that problem in a nutshell. On one side, you have the US, with the most sophisticated defenses in the world. But on the other, you have Iran with a massive arsenal of relatively cheap, effective weapons. So who wins? The high-tech shield or the low-tech swarm? And look, this isn't just some wild theory. Military analysts all agree on this one fundamental point. Technology isn't magic. Every single defensive system out there, no matter how advanced, has a saturation point, a limit. And once you cross that line, it becomes vulnerable. It's as simple as that. In fact, we've even seen this play out before, according to the source material. In a 2025 conflict, Iran launched this huge attack on Israel, over 550 ballistic missiles and 1,000 drones. Now, Israel's top-tier defenses managed to intercept most of them, but not all of them. A few got through, and they caused real destruction. It was a pretty stark reminder that even the absolute best defenses can be beaten by pure volume. And that right there proves a really critical point. A successful attack like this doesn't just put the carrier in danger. The very attempt to do it would basically light a match in a gas station. The carrier isn't a target in a vacuum. It's the trigger for a much, much bigger conflict across the entire region. Because here's the thing. Unlike the carrier, which is a moving target, The US has up to 40,000 troops sitting in fixed bases all over the region. And every single one of those bases is within range of Iran's missiles. These soldiers aren't on a mobile fortress. In a real conflict, they'd be sitting ducks. And this chart really shows you just how big that danger zone is. Iran has thousands of short-range missiles and drones, perfect for hitting those bases and any ships in the Gulf. But they've also got a serious arsenal of mid-range ballistic missiles that can hit targets all across the Middle East. Now, of course, the US has its own powerful missile defense systems protecting those bases, things like the Patriot and THAD systems. But this just brings us right back to the exact same scary question, doesn't it? It's the same numbers game, just playing out on land. Can they stop everything Iran might throw at them? When you put all of this together, you really start to see why both sides, despite all the tough talk we hear sometimes, are actually walking on eggshells. The consequences of one bad move are just too catastrophic to even think about. From Iran's side, they've been very clear about their position, very public. They're signaling that they are absolutely ready to respond with everything they have to any attack. This isn't just talk, it's a core part of their national security strategy. And for the United States, the analysis is just as chilling. A war with Iran wouldn't be some quick, easy operation. It would mean risking a level of American casualties that the public hasn't seen in decades. Because the stakes are just astronomical. For the US, you're talking about potentially losing a multi-billion-dollar symbol of your nation's power, the lives of thousands of soldiers, and getting sucked into a brutal, long-term regional war. The risks are so enormous that they create their own powerful reason to avoid a fight.
Which leaves us with this one final big question. For 100 years, the aircraft carrier has been the undisputed queen of the oceans, this symbol of untouchable power. But in this new age of cheap drones and swarm tactics, has its massive size and fame turned it from an unstoppable force into an irresistible target? That's definitely something to think about.